All right, guys. I guess I've been out of the loop a little bit. It's been a busy week with the hard freezes we've had down here in Louisiana. There's been some back and forth between the discussions regarding Rob Vigent versus Ryan Bowen, and a lot to talk about. I probably should have taken down some notes and maybe outlined this a little bit. That way I don't miss anything. But I wanted to kind of get this out, or at least discuss it a little bit while it's hot, although I think it's going to be hot for the next 6 months. But while I had a minute, we're actually getting ready to head out to Alabama today for Alabama State. Jonathan Breida is having a super match left-handed with Ron Bath, and he kind of asked me to go and be in his corner. So I'll be there, and I'll be competing also. But Ryan and Rob, I think ultimately it's good stuff for arm wrestling. I think there's some good, some bad, some ugly. And I'll try to hit on the positives, and I'll try to hit on some of the things that maybe I don't like about the situation. So, one, it seems they are competing. 6 rounds, but with an extension that if it ties at 3-3, you have to win by 2. So this could be a barn burner type of match. I actually hope it goes really long. I think I'm in favor of some of the either longer matches or combination right and left-handed matches, although it's not going to be a left-hand match at all. Apparently the money's going to be pretty significant, 5 figures, approaching $50,000. And so good stuff. So I guess one of the things that stood out early on, and that was with Ryan's initial acceptance of Rob's challenge, was, Rob mentioned, putting up your money, betting your money. And, I don't think many of us have $50,000 laying around. But when Bowen accepted, he mentioned, generating $50,000, raising $50,000 as a prize to the winner. And, I didn't really care for that, because I think the real intent of Rob's challenge was, he wanted to find someone who actually had the balls, who actually thought they could beat him, that was willing to put up their own money. And surely raising money or having sponsors pay $50,000 to the winner is not nearly the same thing. If Rob said, hey, Herman, I've got a $50,000 sponsor, or I think we can make $50,000 by talking trash on YouTube, do you want to pull? I would probably consider that any day of the week, under any circumstances, under any condition, regardless of injury status, right? Because it's not my own money, right? So completely different scenarios than Rob's initial challenge. So that was kind of one real glaring issue. At this point, the match they are having, it will be raised funds, which is great. It's not a bad thing, but it's just not, I don't think it fulfills the intent of Rob's initial challenge. So I still think it's an open challenge. I still think no one has chosen to accept that challenge. And I think Rob's point is that maybe he doesn't have the $50,000. I don't know. But even if he doesn't, Rob's point is that he's not concerned with losing the money, because he's not going to lose to someone under the conditions he presented, meaning drug testing and all this other stuff. So kind of a letdown, because I was really hoping to see someone actually step up to the plate. Although I don't think the power players that would be on Rob's level, drug tested, if they even exist, they probably don't even watch the video, right? That guy may be in Russia somewhere, may not even speak English, maybe doesn't even care, may not even care who Rob Vigent is. I think under tested circumstances, Rob's a tall order for just about anybody. So again, kind of a letdown. Also, I guess one of the things that I dislike about the situation is that Bowen is not the guy. I mean, I don't think that's the match that I would want to see. And I think people that like really are into arm wrestling, not the, for fun crowd, the people that like the entertainment part of it. But I think the real match, whether it's a bet or not, if Bowen can actually generate the $50,000, it's not Bowen, right? I want to see Rob versus Prudnik. I want to see Rob versus Angrabayev. I want to see Rob versus Rustam. Those are the matches that I want to see. I want to see Rob. Rob's had the WAL championship. He's had the hammer. And I've talked about it ad nauseum about how I don't think the WAL is the league, the world league. And I've also told Rob that I think he needs to compete against those other guys. And I think he'll try to get out more and do some of that. But with this much money on the line, I would have wanted to see a higher level match. Also, I mean, it kind of has the feel that Bowen has jumped over a lot of people. And I don't personally feel slighted. I'm not ready to compete at that level. And at the same time, I think Rob Rob might pull me for free in his garage. So I'm not too worried about that. But Bowen kind of bought his way, I think, to the top or to that match. And I would say maybe in sports, I don't know if that should be a thing, right? There was a reason why WAL had their ladder kind of set up and you'd have to work your way to the top. But Bowen skipped a ton of steps. I mean, he's beaten Alan Guerra, who's probably not top 10 in WAL, if they even have 10 people. I mean, he beat Dan under like odd circumstances. And I know Ryan had competed the day before and Dan had competed in the tournament before then. So, I mean, it's just kind of a match that doesn't really count for anything. Ryan's put up some good numbers in the gym. So I don't know. It just a lot of steps that he skipped and really just bought his way into. And then, Ryan made a comment on how he doesn't lose this match. And I understand the logic between, you either win or you learn, right? And there's some truth to that, but there's also something about actually losing, that makes it a sport, right? There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser. And I think Ryan, as a promoter, he would take this match, even if he thought he had zero chance of winning a single round, because he's either going to make money, he's going to build his channel, et cetera, et cetera. So something doesn't feel natural about this, in the sense that there won't be a loser in the match. It's not natural. I don't think it's very sport-like, most of these events that I go to, Zloty Tour, when I did compete in WAL years ago, they didn't have any near this kind of money involved. And I knew, like, if I won a match, it was awesome. If I lost a match, it sucked, right? Maybe you get second or third place and there's some positives there, but you didn't win the event. I don't know if I enjoy the concept of losing a match and being happy because my YouTube channel is making money or something. I don't know. New times, different things. We have to all, I guess, adjust to and accept that this is what arm wrestling is. I think it's more of like entertainment as opposed to sport when you have this type of dynamic going on. So there's probably some other things that kind of irked me about the situation. I guess some of the positives of it are this is being done with no sort of, long-term contract. I'm sure there may be some sort of match stipulations or something. Maybe there's a commitment to, promote the match and make a certain number of videos and stuff like that. And I think that's all fine. It's assuming the pay is the pay makes sense, right? I mean, I wouldn't require someone to be posting daily videos about something if they're going to make $200 for it 6 months later. But I think where the match is $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000, yeah, I think you can pump out all the content you want, or be asked to generate all the content you want to pump up the match, or whatever's required. So I think that's a very good thing. It's outside of these standard contracts that WAL has been kicking out. It is interesting that whether it's Bowen, Rob, or Michael Todd, comments keep getting made such as WAL has approved this, or Michael Todd said there's a soft approval for the Levon match. But people keep telling me that the contracts don't restrict you. You know, you can do whatever you want. Yet I keep hearing that WAL has to approve, or WAL has soft approval. That's another topic. We can talk about those contracts another day. So that's a great thing. You know, no contracts. You know, I said it before. I thought that Devin should try to do something big outside of the leagues. And Devin says, no, you still need the leagues. And that's probably not the optimal thing to do. I'm glad someone did it, right? So Bowen's doing it. I think this is a huge step for the arm wrestler. I don't know if it completely eliminates leagues. And I don't know if eliminating all the leagues is necessarily the answer either. But I think it's going to shift the power a little more toward the puller. You know, Devin's contract is up in the WAL. There's probably a lot of others whose contracts are up. I think this is going to force people to reconsider re-signing. I think it's going to force some people to simply not sign. And I think it may force the leagues to approach the contract situation differently than they have in the past, which could make things a lot more interesting, because maybe the leagues and some of the bigger shows will be open to more people, or more people will consider joining the leagues that haven't previously joined. So yeah, I'm pretty excited about that component of it. Yeah, so there's probably more stuff. I'm kind of scrambled. Like I said, I probably should have outlined this a bit more. Ultimately, that was the one thing, drug testing. I guess it's a positive. I mean, I don't do drugs. But when, you know, Rob made the stipulation that he wanted drug testing, you know, my thing was, what do you test for? What are drugs? What is natural? What's not natural? What's legal? What's illegal? Are you going to WADA standards? You know, you can do these piss tests and ratio testosterone to testosterone and make an assumption that someone's clean or not. I don't know if Rob's ever been drug tested in an athletic event, but I mean, there are natural people that will test positive on some of these simple tests. It's my understanding. I guess you can get other tests that find metabolites and all this other stuff. But I've noticed a lot of people lately have been taking SARMs, and they still claim to be natural when SARMs, if I'm not mistaken, are technically illegal in the United States. I think that law was passed in 2019. So you have people that started them in 2016, 17, and 18 that are still on them. They don't know the law's been passed, or they're acting like they're oblivious to that fact. And if I'm not mistaken, SARMs are not WADA WADA compliant. So you have things like that. So you drug test two guys. One guy's completely natural. Maybe the other guy's loaded on SARMs or human growth hormone. So if you don't do blood tests, you're never going to catch the growth hormone stuff. So there's all sorts of other illegal healing agents that give you an advantage, whether it be training up to a match, making sure you show up healthy, all that stuff. You know, and sure, you can buy it over the counter, but, you know, you're buying it from a veterinary clinic or something online that says it's only for research or it's only for animals. So what is natural? What is legal? What do you test for? What can you even test for? So I'm not a huge, I don't think I'm an anti-drug guy. For me, it's kind of like all or nothing. You know, if you're going to test, you need to be able in the first place to even test for everything, which I don't think you can do. And since you can't do that, then you might as well just leave it open. So I don't know if I really care about the drug testing thing. I think it's It's not very thorough. There's ways around it. And to some extent, you know, if you can't control a situation, I just say don't worry about it. So I don't think we can truly control it. So we just deal with it. Yeah, so good stuff. I'm pretty excited. I've been feeling pretty good lately. So, you know, maybe Ryan will set me up a match or something like that at some point. Or if anything, maybe I'll just go and travel to see those two guys compete. I think it'll be a good show. I'm pretty excited about it. Wished it could have been someone else like a Prudnik. Because I think Rob beating Ryan doesn't do a whole lot. I mean, the match is still the match, right? You know, set up by Ryan, you know, not the big league, no contracts, drug tested, $50,000. That's a big deal. That won't change. It's huge for the sport. It'll be a groundbreaking moment. But the actual, if you just look at the fight itself, I don't think it really does much, you know, from a pure sports standpoint, right? Ryan beating Rob, that might actually be pretty huge. So I guess there's a chance here. And then the question is, you know, what are Ryan's real chances? I think Rob wins. But you never know. Rob can be kind of like hit or miss. You know, if he doesn't come in on his A game, you know, if he has some mental checkouts or whatever you might want to call them, you know, Ryan could definitely beat him. So I guess it's definitely not a 0% chance that Ryan wins. And but again, Rob and Rustem would be a total like mind fuck for arm wrestling, because if Rob wins that, you know, the balance of power shifts. I think the last 5 years of arm wrestling kind of gets rewritten, right? So you look at everything that's happened in the last 5 years in WAL and you say, well, you know, Justin Bishop got a win on Rob, right? So now I think Justin's level gets elevated a bit, right? Craig Tullier had wars with Rob, right? Craig's level goes way up, right? So I think Rob in that situation would be carrying sort of the flag, you know, for the United States arm wrestling, and he could sort of reset our level in the global playing field, or the perception of our level. Our level is what it is, but the way we're perceived could be modified by Rob, you know, beating a Prudnik, or even just having a war with a Prudnik. The same way, I guess, Ryan can lift up, you know, the perception of Australia in the world arm wrestling scene. So I guess that's pretty much it. There may be other things to discuss, and if I think of them, I'll probably just make a follow-up video. I'm curious as to what you think regarding the sport of this match and this idea of there being no loser, you know, or Ryan not being able to lose the match. I don't like it. So I'd much rather Ryan be a promoter and push the match, and then have a guy like Prudnik pull, or just another like pure athlete who, when they lose, right? They miss out. It sucks, you know, and that sort of thing. Otherwise, you know, when you win regardless, then you just take the match, right? So if you told me I'd make $25,000 to pull Rob tomorrow, and let's say Rob's trained up, which he may not be, I'd pull Rob tomorrow because I can't lose. I'm still going to make $25,000 or something like that. I don't think that way, so I'd probably lose even if I made the $25,000. But I don't think Bowen thinks that way. And like I said, it's very interesting. This is business. It's not sport. But let me know what you think. Later, guys.